We start the second half of this morning's program with the first of our inspiring talks. Tungsram is a 123-year-old Hungarian brand which started life as a pioneering Hungarian company and then became part of the GE group and is now once again a proudly independent multinational with 110 global markets and an HQ here in Hungary. Its motto, "Innovation is our heritage," reflects its tradition of manufacturing quality lighting products and investing in future-safe, smart technologies. In a moment, we'll meet the president and CEO of Tungsram Group, and, I could add, a former BBJ Expat CEO of the Year award winner, Mr. Joerg Bauer. But just before that, we have a short video. Run VT.
So we are back. We have never left, I think. So that's the story of today. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to be here today representing an old and a new Hungarian multinational company, a Magyar Multi, as we say. And I would like to talk about innovative ecosystems. Allow me very briefly to talk about why I'm here. So this is my life in symbols. And the two things maybe you can take from here, I've had the privilege to work for two of the large, long-lasting, long-term foreign investors in the country, Audi and GE. And I've spent 16 years here. So it's my second home, I should say. I've settled. So latest when 2.5 years ago, I started to raise my hand to buy the company from GE Lighting. Latest then it was settled. So basically I'm here to stay. And if you see all the other companies, I'm here to also contribute my experience. But it's not really necessary because this is a great company with a lot of past. I will show you a little bit about where we are today, where we have come from. So innovation is our heritage. We have chosen as our mission, as our slogan. And the second part, which is not written, is, and it's our commitment for the future. So here we go, 16 years. Innovation was a topic that I've always been involved to in the last couple of years. With universities, the great Hungarian universities. Semmelweis, if I take one example, we always call Ignaz Semmelweis the first data scientist. So when I was at GE Healthcare, there's a great team of software developers, I think now 500 people. We live in the tradition of Semmelweis, who basically by deduction found out that you shouldn't really do some autopsy and then afterwards go and give birth. Because that basically caused a lot of the deaths. Now if you look at GE, obviously at Tungsram, 9 years of GE, sorry. If you look at Tungsram, today we are like a $300 million company, 4,000 employees. I think more importantly is what we want to be. So we are reaching back to the industrial laboratory of Ashna Lippert, of Ignaz Pfeiffer, of Bayer Zoltan. We're standing, if you want to, on the shoulders of those great examples of the Hungarian industry and the Hungarian innovation. And we're basically deploying our know-how that we have accumulated over 120 years We have the 5 factories in Hungary, in Újpest, where it all started, but then also in the countryside. We're deploying this to new areas. So we systematically went through the company where we have been using technologies for light, very sophisticated light, but then customers don't want to buy those light sources anymore. The market is shifting to LED. We are being disrupted. So when you are being disrupted, you have 2 chances. You can sort of sit and wait, eventually close down the company, or you can try to get and enter new industries, and that's what we are doing. So if you look at the new areas on the right, agricultural technology, smart cities, property technology, and an open innovation center, again in the tradition of Ásna Lipot, who was one of the first to fund an institute at the Technical University in Budapest doing nuclear research. The idea is always, what can we build on? So if you take a country like Hungary, if you take a company like Tungsram, we're not very big. We have like 100 researchers, roughly, give and take. So Bosch, another great investor, has like 4,000. So we cannot do what Bosch is doing and be globally successful. We have to partner. So we're turning that into a competitive advantage. So whatever we can get, whatever has been invented, whatever someone else can do, we don't want to invent ourselves. So we partner with universities. Ásna Lipot, basically the guy who brought our company up to global significance. Under his time, we had 20% global market share. So basically, a company from Hungary can do it, and we believe we can do it again. You see some of the pictures in the back from the past, but I think, as I said, more importantly is what we would like to do in the future. Still, Tungsram, even in the socialist times, managed to stand its ground. You will see in a moment Mr. Khrushchev, who came to visit us, and you will see that basically our EHS experts managed to convince him to keep his shoes on while he was visiting the company. But then we had a factory in New Jersey called Tungsram Action Tungsram. I just met one of its first employees in Las Vegas in a fair, was extremely happy to see the Tungsram booth. So that's some examples of what we have illuminated in the past. Now, light is not enough. So we're looking to make light the carrier, the light source, the carrier of information, of data collection. So we're looking at smart cities all over the world. Particularly, we are focusing on the Middle East. Why? Because our brand is very strong. Government relations are very strong. So when you're looking at a country like Hungary, at a place like, in a company the size of Tungsram, 4,000, 5,000 employees, we cannot beat everyone in everything. We have to be like a German Mittelstand, a hidden champion. We have to pick a couple of topics where we are globally competitive. I strongly believe, and I think this is the strategy of the government as well, pick those topics where traditionally Hungary is strong and really put everything behind. Combine it with government relations of those countries that are traditional strong markets of Hungary. And this is where we also play. So if you go to Iraq and you want to buy a lamp, you're not asking for a lamp, you're asking for a Tungsram. So you go into a shop and you say, give me a Tungsram. Ott nekem egy Tungsramot. And that's a pretty strong starting point. So what else can we do with this kind of market? You see that we made it to the Times Square. We didn't even pay for that. So that's basically something that happened because of the transition. And I think this is where we belong. So we should be there. We have invested quite heavily into our customer-facing areas. So we have to present ourselves as a globally competitive, professional, innovative company. So if you have a chance, please feel invited to come and see us in Újpest. Also, please feel invited to cooperate with us. As I said, we are going to have solutions that we will not be able to do ourselves. So when I talk about food security, smart cities, when I talk about climate change, very big topic these days, We strongly believe that technology is the answer. Change of behavior, consciousness, but at the end of the day, technology. Because we can drop. Electricity is something like 20% of, lighting is 20% of global electricity. We have the technology to drop that by 50%. And add to it smart and data collection. So you're seeing some of those examples which we have illuminated in the past and in the present. And obviously, when you look at the schools, for example, light is very important. It allows the children to concentrate, to study. At the same time, we like this picture because it's yellow. That means we can drop the energy consumption of Budapest by 50%. It has to be financially viable. So not only can we do better light for the children, but it can be funded by the energy saving. So the 50% roughly is enough to fund the energy saving, and the children get better light, and we can start to collect data, not on the children, but on the building. Now, one thing, we would like to be an umbrella for startups. So one of the things we do well, we can produce almost anything. Anything out of plastic, metal, ceramics, we can do tooling, we do glass. We have the largest glass factory in Europe. We have the largest lighting factory globally. Now this is an infra trainer. And basically we are teaming up with a startup that comes with an idea. We prototype it, we do the serial production, and we sell it globally. Now this already starts, and I'm coming to an end. One of the biggest bets we have is indoor farming. Just been in the Middle East, where the weather conditions are not suitable for outdoor farming. At the same time, populations are growing. If you look at Egypt as one country, from like 25 million to 110 million today to 150 million. Egypt has half of the arable land of Hungary. So half of Hungary should feed 150 million people. This will only work with sustainable, financially sound solutions. Indoor farming is one of them. And the question is, can we create happiness? Can we be seriously a happiness company together with our partners and help solve some of those problems that we face, like food security? And so if you think about Tungsram, if you think about Hungary, you think about happiness. Thank you very much.